Cash machine number 4, the social influencer. With the inception of social media sites came the business model, the social influencer. And I'm not going to bore you or insult you by explaining what social media sites are or what a social influencer is, but it is important to look at some of the finer details in this in case you want to either hire a social influencer or you want to become one yourself. The flow of list building worked out like this. What started as an actual prospect list that you needed the person's name, phone number, and their physical address because you needed to send physical mailers and promotions to them, turned into a list of email addresses, and then that turned into a list of followers on a social media website. Now that specific concept was revolutionary and it changed a lot of people's lives. And just to give you a little bit of an example, let's compare one of the most famous brands in the world with something that started from a social influencer and it turned into a giant conglomerate. So unless you've been living under a rock somewhere, you've probably heard of victoriassecret.com. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you've definitely heard of that name. And it's one of the biggest businesses in the world. Their traffic is 95 million views per month, okay? So this is a business that's been around for a really long time. Now there's something called skims.com. This is a .com owned by Kim Kardashian, and they sell essentially kind of the same thing, you know, undergarments, women's clothing, stuff like that, and they're priced pretty moderately. But skims.com gets 27 million views per month. Now, if we wanted to do just some basic math, here's how that adds up, okay? According to Adobe Business, the average conversion rate of e-commerce sites in fashion is 2.7%, and an average transaction value of $75. A company like Skims generates approximately $54 million per month. This is revenue, we're not talking about profit. So they generate $54 million in revenue every single month. Now, if you don't know Skims, obviously it's owned by Kim Kardashian and she has two partners on this. And Kim Kardashian's equity in the business, I believe, is 35%. And as a social influencer who just kind of went into the business of creating things like this, the company pays her $19 million, again, revenue, $19 million a month is the share that 35% that Kim Kardashian gets, right? Now, if we extrapolate that number, that's $250 million a year in revenue, and that's just Kim Kardashian's portion. And if we evaluate that business at a 4-year valuation, that's a $1 billion company. And that's just her portion of the business, which means if you were to consider her two business partners, who are essentially faceless business partners, they're also in the hundreds of millions, if not billion-dollar net worth. That's pretty crazy. So what's the big lesson here? Can everybody become a Kim Kardashian or Cristiano Ronaldo or Dwayne Johnson? Not really. But what you can do is become like the two silent business partners that Kim Kardashian has. You can find somebody like this, offer them something that actually fits within their merchandise category or their marketplace, and then help them turn that into a business. And even if that wasn't the case, let's say you want to become the social influencer yourself, you don't need to have hundreds of millions of followers to build a business that's substantial for you and actually generating revenue for you. If you can follow along some of the models that we're talking about and use some of the other cash machine models that we're going to talk about, social media traffic, even with a relatively small account, can end up turning into a real income for you if you're not just relying on ad revenue or sponsorships and you're relying on product sales, merchandise sales. So this again goes into further details and minutia and things like that, and all of that is covered within my book, Cash Machines, that you can get for free. Go ahead and get the book. It's available for free on my website right now. And until then, I will see you in the next video.